Low and slow. That's how we do our meat here in the South, and that's how Kettle and Fire does their bone broth. Low and slow. Simmered for 10 or more hours with organic veggies and herbs to make it delicious, full of collagen. Great for your recovery, great for your soul. If you're doing an intermittent fasting program, it'll help with that, help with your injury recovery, depending on what you're recovering from. And frankly, it's just delicious. It's getting cold out. If you want a warm cup of something and you're tired of your English breakfast tea, pour yourself some Chipotle beef bone broth in a cup, stick it in the microwave for 45 seconds, and bam, you got something delicious. So do this. Go to kettleandfire.com, fill up your box, use code BetterHumanhood at checkout. They will give you 10% off. That's Kettle and Fire, KETTLEANDFIRE.com. Use code BetterHumanhood at checkout for 10% off. Kelvin, what's going on?
Good morning, Mr. Shear. How the heck are you today?
Yes, I am.
Oh, man, I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. I'm sitting here in lovely Liverpool, New York, where the weather has become a bit more seasonal today. It was nice outside.
So you got 6 feet of snow on your ground?
No, but it was back to that kind of a rainy, grayish thing today. Yesterday was beautiful, man. It was like 80 degrees outside or something like that, and just a wonderful, crystal clear day. And it was outstanding. So life is good. I'm having a good time. By all indications, I am healthy and happy. And hey, does it really get any better than that?
I can't imagine it does. Healthy and happy seems to cover it.
Get a little closer to your mic there, homeboy, because you don't be whispering at me. People will think we got something going on. Stop it.
We do, don't we?
Stop it. We're gonna have to put the link to that video on the show notes. Stop it. Yeah. You don't know what that is, ladies and gentlemen, but when you go to the link that Josh is going to put on the show notes, you'll figure it out. It's going to take you about 7 minutes. You'll probably laugh or pee yourself. Well, what's it?
If you pee yourself, do not send us a bill for
do not blame
your
us.
sofa.
Do not blame us. But anyway, so I'm fine. How are you? Well, I see, the little princess over there is awake and happy today. So how are y'all?
Yeah, the little princess is awake and happy, which is better than it was a few hours ago when we were at the pediatrician. And she's 9 months old now, so it's been 3 months since we've been there.
Uh-huh.
And she was looking around the office like, I got a vague recollection of this place, but it seems like from a different lifetime. Mm-hmm. And she was having all kinds of stranger danger with the pediatrician, and it was like, ha 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 ha. But she was not happy at all. And then she got her the shots you get at 9 months old. Mm-hmm. And there was a waiting period in between the pediatrician leaving and the woman who does the injections coming in. So I was like, well, if you didn't like that part, you're really not going to like what's next.
Mm-hmm.
But she seems to be in somewhat better spirits now. And
well, congratulations.
I
heard happy, so that's good.
Yeah.
How about you personally?
Me personally, I've been told to lose some weight, Josh. Lose some weight. So that's the focus for the final quarter of the year. Is getting back, finding time to run, even if it's at 4 a.m. Yeah, I've
And
got.
you get off at 3. Is that what I understand?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
So we started this week to um, really kind of focus on. We started counting calories, which we don't really like to do, but you got to start somewhere. And made sure that we've got better choices in the house and no bad choices. So
yeah, you use what is that app? MyFitnessPal.
Yeah. Yep. That's
I need
what
to
we
start
use
doing
for
that again because it was pretty good. We've got a friend. I don't know if he wants me to mention his name on the air, so I won't right now. However, he uses MyFitnessPal religiously, and it's a kind of sobering a companion when you realize.
I try to use it for like a week.
Yeah.
Here and there. Just I don't see a point in using it religiously if you're not going to do anything with the information.
Well,
I found out that I track a lot.
Yeah.
For a long time, I was tracking a lot of stuff and not doing anything with the information. I was just tracking it to track it.
Right.
And that's not useful.
Yeah.
But
initially, sometimes, however, just the awareness you gain.
Right. Exactly. So seeing where you're at, setting a baseline.
Big old burgers from whatever. The normal human being has no concept of what kind of calories are in one of those.
Oh, sure. If you go to a restaurant and get a cheeseburger and fries,
it is really
scary. Like you might be coming away with a 1,300 calorie meal, plus whatever you're drinking.
Yeah. Yeah. So, a lot of
if you're on
food for a week.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on a 1,600 to 1,800 calorie a day diet, which is reasonable for a sedentary adult, that might be all your food for the day.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
And if you're this is pumpkin spice season. If you're walking into Starbucks and getting yourself a pumpkin spice latte and a breakfast sandwich in the morning, you might be having 900 calories on your way to work.
Oh yeah, and that chai tea latte I'm so fond of. Whoa. Yeah, that's I think the last explanation I saw of it actually said something like pure sugar. So yeah. Oh, pardon me, I coughed.
Yeah, a can of Coke has 45 teaspoons of sugar in it or something like that?
Something crazy. It's I don't know. I haven't seen one lately because I haven't actually had soda in a really, really long time. Not even diet soda. I might have picked up a ginger ale 6 months ago just for grins and giggles.
Right. Yeah.
And I drink my liquor straight. So
same.
But yeah, it was something crazy. And however, I won't say anything about that small bag, and I'm not going to define small, of Nutter Butter, peanut butter sandwich cookies I consumed the other day. But I think if I use my MyFitnessPal, probably I don't need to eat for another week and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, you might actually hear an app laugh at you.
Or shut down. It's no.
Oh, you might want to stop using this app for a little while.
Yeah, that kind of crap, man.
If this is how you're gonna eat, don't even
try it. Don't even try it. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah.
But my issue tends to be, because I still have that day job, but it's at night. My issue tends to be late night bored eating. So hey, it's slow. I got an hour and a half left. Maybe I'll make a sandwich. That was such a delicious sandwich. Maybe I'll have another one, and that kind of thing. So what I've done is I made up some homemade trail mix, raisins and sunflower seeds and several different kinds of nuts, and I portioned that into like reasonable size servings, like 150, 200 calorie servings.
Right.
And I find if I have one of those midway through the night, 9:30, 10 o'clock, I still have 4 or 5 hours worth of work to do. That'll take me the rest of the way. I don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm actually. I'm too full to board eat. Like if I need something to do, it's not going to be shove anything in my face because I don't want anything in my belly after that.
Got it. Yeah. Occasionally, a spoonful of peanut butter does that for me, but
yeah, no. See, I have
occasionally it doesn't.
Right. Like if I have a spoonful of peanut butter, the risk is that I'll just want more.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So these days I don't even need crackers, man. Just give me a spoon. And crunchy only.
See, I get the natural stuff, like the stuff that it's worth.
Well, you can just drink it. That was a joke.
Well, we're pretty good. We're pretty good about getting the oils all mixed in.
Okay.
If you store those jars upside down,
right?
They mix well. So, there's that. It's just a matter of, it's work to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put it in your mouth and. For as much as we joke about sticky with the like your regular Skippy peanut butter,
right,
or whatever, there's nothing. There's nothing compared to the stuff that's made out of just peanuts and salt.
Yeah. And actually, when you get used to it, because you have to get used to it, you get to like it, and then if you go back to regular peanut butter,
oh my god, it's so bad.
It's really
so sweet.
It's sweet and it's sticky and it's So maybe I'll just develop that habit and go back to the natural, the more natural stuff, or less fatty laden or whatever. However you.
Well, they're very. I mean, that's what it is. Peanuts are fat. But with a little bit of protein, it's just that the not natural quote unquote peanut butters have sugar added. Yeah, that's what makes them delicious.
Yeah, so it's crazy, but when you first go back, it's kind of gross.
Yeah.
What is that texture in my mouth?
Even now, I visit. Yeah, if I visit my parents or my sister or something, I'm like, let me have a spoonful of peanut butter because I'm hungry.
Right.
We're gonna eat in an hour and a half. Let me have a little something to tide me over. And that's what's in the cabinet. I'm just like, oh, don't let me do that again.
Yeah, really. Let me do that to myself. So yeah.
So anyway, that's the focus for the next couple of months, and I think we babbled enough. If we play some music, maybe we'll actually come back and have a conversation about altered states. Yeah.
Do that.
Podcast, where we talk about better humanhood and teach you how to dominate your world. You ready? Here we go. All right. That's always the music is always a good tangent bailout. Yeah, I worry sometimes that we're going to have to play the intro like 4 times during an episode.
Well, yeah, but but today Actually, it wasn't just babble. We actually had some good conversation.
That's true. We did.
So this is just our letting people know we're getting serious now with the conversation.
That's right. So I wanted to have a conversation about altered states, and this is a little different than we usually do.
Not one of those.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah, not. So this week is Yom Kippur, the Jewish Day of Atonement, and it's a 24-hour fast. It's no food or water from sundown to sundown.
Mm-hmm.
And fasting is an altered state. We hear altered state, we immediately think drugs, maybe alcohol, but there are so many altered states. So many different ways to get into an altered state. Fasting's one of them. Dancing, concerts, music, especially if you're in a group, a festival like Burning Man.
I haven't been in that one.
Yeah, well, me either. But it's you're in the desert with a bunch of people for a few days, listening to music and seeing art and that kind of thing. Yoga, deep meditation. These are all altered states, and we want to be out of our normal heads so much that in the U.S. every year we spend $4 trillion on altered states, and that is more than we spend on maternity care, humanitarian aid, and K through 12 education combined.
Wow.
That comes from that stat comes from Stealing Fire by Stephen Kotler and Jamie Wheal, which is a book about flow, and it's a book about group flow, really. I think we've talked about flow states before, and really what you're experiencing in a flow state is a period of time during which you're not really consciously putting forth effort. You might be, you might suddenly write a couple of thousand words. You might, in no time, you might, get into like an 8-hour coding session. You might get, you might just be dancing at a club and you realize that it's 4 hours later when you thought you'd only been there for half an hour. Weddings, it's amazing how fast some weddings go.
Yeah.
You get out on the dance floor at 6 o'clock and all of a sudden they're sending everybody home and it's 10 o'clock and you're like, where did the time go? It's like, well, you've been around, people you care about, moving a lot and sweating and enjoying yourself, and all that is a flow state.
That's that time flies when you're having fun thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and although a lot of times you might not consciously be having fun while you're doing that stuff.
I used to
you might be happy after you're done.
Well, yeah. I used to when I did some of my better writing, and it's been a while since I've hit this state, but I would sit down and I'd start writing something, and then I'd look up like 4 hours later and go like, "Wow, yeah, I wrote all of that." And then,
that's
a lot of times when I do that, like I'll come back the next day and I'll read what I wrote, and I'll go like, "Who wrote that?"
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and you did that in a flow state, almost like a trance.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'd like to get back to that with some of my writing, man. It's like amazing stuff.
Yeah, and you can you can try to squeeze in there. It's is somewhere between alpha and theta. And Awilda a couple of weeks ago talked about um, using theta waves for a nap or a deep meditation, or just getting you into sleep. But
I didn't go find that once you recommended either. Do that.
Yeah, I actually I linked to I think a 2-hour version in the show notes if you want to look at that too.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the one I use for an afternoon nap sometimes.
Okay.
But flow, flow lives in alpha. Which is all right. So yeah, alpha state. So an alpha state kind of lives in that liminal space between theta, a kind of a deep sleep, and beta, which is your normal waking state.
Mm-hmm.
So it sort of lives like on not exactly asleep and not exactly awake, but awake enough to do stuff. In The Rise of Superman, Stephen Kotler writes about big wave surfers,
right,
and how sometimes when they go into a big wave, the sort of wave that nobody's surfed before, they will be on the verge of death if they make a wrong move.
Right.
And they'll do something that nobody has ever done before to get out of the wave or get themselves right. And they won't know that they did it, or they won't know why they did it. It's just they live in that automatic, they were living in that automatic space where they weren't consciously thinking about it, but they weren't asleep.
Right. Just in the zone, basically.
Exactly. And that's an altered state. That's where people love to get.
So, have you? I know we talked about the stuff on the on YouTube and the theta wave or the wave. Man, I forgot what to call them right now.
Binaural beats.
Yes, there you go. Thank you. Binaural beats. So, aside from that, do you have well, first of all, those are effective for you, the binaural beats?
Typically, I'll use theta waves to get to sleep. And I will have some crazy dreams. I got to tell you.
Well, see, I still, for some reason, I'm not grasping which wave frequency is the one I want to be at a particular time. So, go through those, because I know you know those. So alpha is
where you want to be if you're trying to get into a flow state.
And that's kind of the in between sleep mode.
Yeah. So that's where. So the technical term for like the neuroscience term for flow is transient hypofrontality. So transient meaning it's a temporary state. Hypofrontality meaning the frontal lobe's in overdrive.
Right.
No, the frontal lobe is switched off. Hypo as opposed to hyper.
Okay.
So like hypothermia, you have no heat.
Right.
Hypofrontality, your frontal lobe isn't doing any processing. It's just
okay.
Yeah, so it's putting you on autopilot. And so that's where you're trying to get, for flow specifically. But there are all kinds of ways to get to altered states, and fasting's one of them, meditation's one of them, and consider that altered states aren't merely to escape. if you think about Buddhist monks, these are the guys who, they'll meditate for days, and they'll, occasionally just have, they'll occasionally have a meal of rice.
Okay.
These are the people with the most control over their minds, in the world. They're people who have totally tamed their minds.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do, they get into altered states to figure out how to get more control, not less.
Wow. Okay. So Marlena's having fun. Sorry, folks. But the baby's happy. That's the good stuff. She's not in a state. Okay, so that's the alpha state. And
so and then theta is sleep, and beta is your basic awake mode. Like you're awake and you're alert, and you've had a cup of coffee, and it's really where most of us live. And then there is those are the three main states that we find ourselves in. And you can induce those states. What happens, what binaural beats are, is so each of these brain waves, alpha, beta, theta, they all live in a hertz range.
Right.
Yes, and you can make a pitch to match those. It's a frequency.
Right.
So you can make an audio sound, an audible sound, and because there's a range, what you do with binaural beats is you always have a way to do it in stereo. So whether you have a speaker on each side of your head, or most of us just wear headphones, you pick two frequencies within the range. So without having hands to look stuff up, because they're on my child right now, if I don't know wherever alpha lies, I don't know whether that's like 13 to 17. I'm making those numbers up. Hertz, or we could just have Kelvin look it up.
I'm gonna try. You're so much
Google alpha waves hertz range or something like that.
Well, for a second there, I had alpha waves hertz cars. Okay, let's see. Where are we here? Slow. Internet is slow.
Oh.
Okay, so alpha wave, a frequency of brain waves. Let's try it.
There you go.
All right, so alpha is 8 to 12 hertz.
8 to 12 hertz. Okay, so what you would do is you would stick a frequency of 9 hertz in one ear and a frequency of 11 hertz in the other ear, so that your brain would have to. Your brain has to put them together, and it makes a 10 hertz wave, and now you're in alpha because your brain has been forced into alpha.
So what's like wide awake?
So it's beta. I'm sure if you're looking at beta. So
beta. Okay. That says greater than 13 hertz is what.
Right. And then there's there seems to be some research going on right now into gamma waves, which I think are related to when dementia becomes a problem.
Right.
Dementia, takes place in the beta range. Because that's the normal awake stage. So gamma rays are a way of kicking your gamma waves, like kick you out of dementia, into moments of clarity. There's not a lot of research there yet, but that'll be higher than beta.
All right.
So
Oh, cool.
so theta is where you're trying to get if you're trying to work yourself towards sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what Awilda was talking about a couple weeks ago. And then alpha is where you want to be if you're in a flow state, to get in a flow state.
So alpha is where we want to hang out. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got to put myself there and then get back into writing. Yeah.
You got stuff to say, huh? You got stuff to say, huh? Here, say it on the mic if you're going to say it. Don't sit so far back.
Come on, girl.
Oh, I
Give
put
us
you
a
in front
pearl
of
of
it.
wisdom.
I put you in front of it, and now you got nothing to say.
Pearl of wisdom. Oh, she might be going to say something else. All right. Get me out of here. That's what that looked like. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, altered states. You know, I know we talked a lot about flow right there, but
Yeah.
But it's a $4 trillion economy. You know, that's people signing up for marathons. That's people paying to get into the club. That's people paying to get to a festival. That's people buying CDs. People don't buy CDs anymore, do they?
I keep trying. We actually have a place here you can do that, but it's like retro people.
Right.
So yeah, people buying.
Yeah. So we spend more time trying to get out of our heads. We spend more money trying to get out of our heads than we do educating our youth. Than we do on maternity care. Than we do on humanitarian aid. All right. We are trying an enforced nap, and I wonder if babies respond to theta waves the same way we do. I wonder if I could actually get some headphones on her and pump some binaural beats in there.
I don't know how you feel about the headphones.
Yeah,
but you've got to. But you could certainly put
speakers are on both sides. Yeah, on both sides of the crib. Yeah.
Yeah, low enough that.
Yeah.
Research that and make sure it's not going to do something weird to her. Like.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to zap her brain.
When you go back in there, wake her up. She's not now speaking in another language, and
I come back and she's crawling on the ceiling like in.
Excuse me, Father, but that was a very nice nap I got. Thank you for helping me. She might not have that accent. She's in the South. It's probably going to be something different.
Yeah, probably.
So anyway. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
So when you told us what you want to do when you get in the States. I'd probably listen to jazz, and I don't know if that puts me in alpha, but it surely does relax me.
Yeah, well, if you can get to a point where you're zoning out with it, like you can force yourself into alpha with, with using sounds in the proper range. Mm-hmm. But music can certainly get you into a flow state. Can certainly get you into an altered state.
Yep. And I've got enough music. I don't ever need to buy another piece.
Right. And
every once in a while, something just grabs me. But I told somebody if I never have to buy another piece of music, I'm happy with the stuff I've got here.
Yeah, most of us, once we pass like 28, 29 years old, our musical tastes are set. Like we're done. We might mellow out a little bit as time goes on, but the albums that were our favorites in our 20s, we're always going to remember those as our favorite albums, and we might not buy new stuff ever. We might buy new to us older stuff, mm-hmm. but like we might not bother going on Discovery at all for new stuff.
Well, sometimes I listen to, as far as that, Pandora, and I'll hear something that really resonates with me.
Yeah, that's where I pick up my new kind of stuff too.
But these days I'm more prone to buy the cut than I am the album. So, but yeah, so that's I mean, that's what does it for me. I can if I really get stressed and I remember, I can put on the jazz that I've got, and not necessarily slow, but it just calms me down and puts me in a good place. So I use that, and I was actually advised to do that more often because I don't do that for myself enough. So if that'll create that part of the state, then I need to figure out which state I need to be in to concentrate and focus.
Well, that's that's just a symptom of being in that state.
All right.
Yeah, it's not a separate thing. I mean, you can be in beta and focus. So you can be in your typical waking state in focus, and we have shorter and shorter attention spans these days.
Yes, we do. So what is the what is the state that they call squirrel? No.
Well, that's just part of our waking state, and everybody's fighting for our attention, and they figured out how to get it. So that's why we're so easily distracted, right? We've got notifications on our phones.
Billions of dollars on how to get our attention out of whatever we're doing. Sure.
I mean, you can cut down distractions is probably the better way to focus. You focus by subtraction, not addition.
Good point.
You turn off notifications on your phone. You don't get pop-up notifications on your computer, so that if you're sitting down to write, you don't get an email coming across your screen. That kind of thing.
Yep.
We were talking off air before the podcast about batching work, so that you're just doing, so that you're taking a block of time to do one kind of work, and you're not doing any other kind of work during that time.
Right.
The 4-hour work week is really about batching your work. It's not about working 4 hours a week.
All right. Well, I will. I'll go back to that. I think I've got a copy in every medium there is. Except movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that Tim Ferriss still preaches is, particularly email.
Mm-hmm.
If you set an autoresponder that says this email is checked at 9:15 a.m. and 4:15 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
If there's an emergency in between, you need to call me. Then people will understand that there is not even an emergency number on there. This email is checked at 9:15 and 4:15, and that's it. Monday through Friday.
If they don't know how to call you,
and then as long as you stick to that expectation, if you set that expectation and stick to it, people will accept will accept your schedule. That doesn't work for everybody, but it's a tactic for cutting down distractions.
I may have to use it. Actually, what I should do is set up an app that completely disables my. Oh, I know. I'll start working at a computer that doesn't have email. Yeah.
Yeah, or you just turn off your email app.
It's easier to buy a new computer that doesn't have it. That's a whole other conversation, though. So, all right.
One of the things that I've done recently is I've gone into the accessibility options in my iPhone.
Yep.
And I set up a triple tap for color. So I have my phone's in black and white as its normal state, which means I don't get a color reward for picking it up. I don't get that dopamine hit for picking it up and seeing color. It makes scrolling through Instagram and Facebook really who wants to look at
I didn't even realize
grayscale photos.
Well, photographers, but that's a whole other.
Well,
I really
photographers might want to look at black and white
realize.
photos, but nobody wants to look at grayscale photos. Just photos that everybody took for Instagram and Facebook, and then just strip the color out.
Interesting.
Didn't adjust because it's just.
I may have to try that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at my phone and it's just
because I see them. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can get to color easily, but it's an extra step. It's something I try to remember to do because the grandmothers want pictures of the baby. And so, because my phone's it's default grayscale,
right?
I pick up the phone and I just see gray. I don't see the color.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, this is uninteresting. Like, why would I send this?
Well, it probably won't go to them in grayscale.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
So I have to remember to turn on the color if I'm taking a picture for them.
So that's all right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, those are good ideas. I'm trying to figure what my top, when I really, really don't want to be distracted, what my top technique is. I don't think I have one, which probably means that's why I'm always distracted.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing you want to do is make sure you have everything that you want nearby.
Mm-hmm.
So, make sure you have your coffee nearby. Make sure you have your water nearby. That way you're not going to be tempted to get up and go get them and then get distracted on the way. Have a pen and paper nearby so that, you can write notes, even if it's about something you want to deal with later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a similar app for PC, but there's an app for Mac called Freedom that will will prevent you from going to the internet or simply selected sites for a period of time, and you need to restart your computer.
Wow.
To get out of that. Another thing you can do is just turn off your Wi-Fi on your computer. So that you can't access the internet.
There's an idea. And then I have to hide the switch, make it tough to get back to. Freedom. Okay, it's available for Mac, Windows, Android, iOS, and
okay.
Used by over 1 million people to reclaim focus and productivity. Thank you. Website freedom.to. So there you go. Worth investigating if you're prone to that squirrel reaction like I am.
Yeah, or worse, the rabbit hole reaction.
Oh, the dreaded rabbit hole.
Where you go after the squirrel and then you follow it down. And you just keep going, and 6 hours later, you're somewhere else.
Where did the week go?
That's right.
6 hours later, yeah. That's good. So, cool. So, what has been the most effective for you?
For me, and I should probably note that, like, when I'm sitting down to write, if I need to not be, if I'm trying to focus, I tend not to listen to alpha waves. I tend to listen to Mozart.
Really?
Is my that's my calm down and get your behind in gear music.
Good to know. I may have to try that.
Yeah, I mean, for you, it might be your smooth jazz.
I'm of the generation. Well, I don't know if I'm blaming on a whole generation, but when I actually want to focus, I tend to turn off all sound.
Okay, yeah.
And do that. When I remember when my son was going through school and he'd be doing his homework and stuff, and he's got music blaring and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, turn that crap off and concentrate. And then I found out later that generation is very difficult because there's not enough keeping their brain active for them to be able to concentrate.
Right.
So it's like, the world has changed.
Yeah, some people will listen to music without lyrics or music with lyrics that's in a different in a different language.
Yeah, that I haven't tried. Interesting. Okay.
So that you can't understand them. And some people will choose one song and just put it on repeat.
I can do that too.
So that you have the
becomes monotonous, so you don't know.
Well, you have the background noise, but you're not paying attention to it.
Right.
And then, some people will put movies on without the sound. Or some people will put on movies on repeat that they know really well, so that they don't need to pay attention to it, but they don't feel like they're alone in their space.
Okay.
Because a lot of people get paranoid when they're alone. A lot of people start working, their amygdalas start going.
I know some folks like that.
Yeah, branch brushed against the house. There's probably somebody. Yeah. There's probably somebody downstairs waiting to kill me.
Yep.
I better go investigate that. And there was nobody down there, but I stopped to get to make some tea and have some ice cream.
Yeah,
and,
I have done that, but normally it gets my attention when it's a loud boom. Like one day, I heard this shot. As it turns out, it was that big old spring on the garage door.
Oh.
Snapped. And that just sounded like somebody just fired a bazooka through the house. But barring that,
that'll get you. Yeah.
I'm doing okay. So, well, it sounds like a wrap to me. I need a little more flow state. We might even follow up on this in a couple of weeks to see how we're doing.
Good stuff.
Maybe our listeners will send in some information on how they get into a flow state.
Yeah. And, not a sponsor, but I'm a big fan of Alpha Brain by Onnit. It's been absent from my life, and I just ordered some because it's been a while.
Now, tell me what that did for you.
It's a nootropic, and it just, they've got some combination of chemicals in there that, helps with focus and memory, and they actually have double-blind, placebo-controlled studies that show it helps.
And it's not gonna kill me, because you mentioned that one time before. Spell it. Is
Alpha?
It the N-O-O?
O-N-N-I-T is on it.
On it. Oh, let's just look for on it.
Okay. .com and their product Alpha Brain.
All right. Well, maybe I'll give that a shot.
And take that. After take it for a few days before it'll really start to kick in. But take it the same time every day. Take it in the same circumstance. So like when you're sitting down to write, take 2 or 3, and then. Same next day, and by the 3rd or 4th day, it should start to make a difference, or at least it does for me.
All right. Well, give that a shot.
All right. Well, I know that you have an out, and a place to be in. Like there's probably lots more to say on this, but
well, we can always do a part 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I smell that
part
coming.
2, and let's get some specifics here and make this a party.
Yeah. So thank you, Kelvin, for being here. Thank you, listeners, for continuing to put up with us or enjoying us, however you like to frame it.
As long as one means the other. No,
that's
no.
right.
Yes. Keep coming back is what we're saying.
Yeah. Visit kettleandfire.com. Use code Better Humanhood at checkout to save 10%, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
show notes, and more at jkwdpodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends, and we will see you next week. Bye! A Better Humanhood production.